Good morning, everyone. Today is day 12. Yay! We are on day 12 of 12 Days of Dreaming, and today is called Putting Together the Pieces. And it's a crucial part of dreaming and manifestation and bringing your dreams to reality, bringing them to life in a more vibrant and beautiful way, right? So today, day 12, and it's going to be Q&A as well, so feel free to ask any questions and I'm going to get started today, putting together the pieces. What I've told all of you since day one, and if you're new to this, then that's really cool. Oh, hello, buongiorno, Rachel. Nice to see you here. Um, when we're putting together the pieces, it's about following the trajectory of what has happened. And so I did this as a 12-day series, and I did that on purpose because there is power in having an intention and also having a time frame, because then we can get the answers that we need and let go of our mind of saying, well, I need to push it further, I need to get more information, all of that kind of a thing. So I'm going to be also looking at the questions and things in a little bit. I'm going to first channel some of my information, and I love when Rachel is on because she asks lots of questions. So yay, we're going to have a lot of question time. Hello, Brenda. Good morning. So here we go. I'm going to first start around bringing all the pieces together. When we go on a soul path, seeking more energetic wisdom, soul wisdom, all of that, it really is about trust. And trust is something that we're not taught in school. We're not taught in life to use that muscle of ours of trust and really trusting the divine in that it has a bigger and better place for us. It has a bigger and better plan for us. And that is really one of the things that I'm hoping that you get out of this 12 days, that this is a process of trust and being able to get out of the human notions and how we've been trained in certain ways to not trust our body wisdom, to not trust our intuition, and to really go deeper in and see what it has for us, right? So it's all about trust. Now, one of the things when I'm talking about putting together the pieces, we are always given clues. And I started that with day one, talking about the clues that we follow both day and night, and also what overheard conversation, all of those kinds of things is just following all of those. And so what is that called in shamanic terms? So in shamanic terms, that is called tracking, because the shaman is able to track where there is energy, where there is stuck energy, where we need to shift and change. And that's called tracking and putting together the clues. Now, we've also heard that famous quote, by all of a sudden, I'm blanking on the name. I have the vision, I see him and everything, who created Apple, right? And so Macintosh and all of that. And his famous quote was talking about seeing the dots and putting them together, looking backwards to see the dots and putting them together. That's tracking as well, right? And so, the shaman is able to do that. That's why I can do the work that I do so well. Is I'm really, this is one of my major gifts, is being able to see all the signs, put them together for someone and say, this is what's going on, and help them to see it themselves, right? It's what I teach and all of that. But all of you have this ability. You don't have to have gone through all the training and all of that, but you do have the ability to track. You do have the ability to look back, to reflect, to see what's going on, and to follow those signs to get to your answer. So I'm going to give an example of how I'm going to be using it, how I'm going to do the 12 days, looking back, reflecting on them. And then also I'm going to just explain a couple of things. So here are some fun things to do regarding this. And I find this happens all the time with any program I teach, with anything I do. Here are a couple of questions to ask yourself about following the clues and the signs. And I've written them down. I've got my handy dandy couple little bits of notes here, right? Okay. Where did you start in this series? Did you start in day one? And if you did, and you've gone through day 12 and you're with me, kudos to you, congratulations. Or whenever you end up at day 12, if you've gone through them all, awesome. That is really cool. But where did you start? Because I'm asking that because maybe all of a sudden you heard about this and you're like, oh, I started on day 3. Then what I'd encourage you to see, and you finished out the series, I'd encourage you to look at what was day 2 and 1, because those might be some of the clues for you that you're missing, right? Where did you stop? Meaning, was there a moment that you stopped in this series and then you skipped a bunch? Then a lot of times the clues that you have for yourself are the ones that you skipped. Because I find that our soul, or not our soul, our mind gets freaked out because our mind wants to know, our ego wants to know that it's safe, right? And so it will skip over some of those things that we need to see the most. And so being aware, did you skip over any videos? And if so, go back to those, because those are probably going to be the most healing. It might trigger you, it might have some issues for you, but it also will have the most gold for you in that moment. So going back and seeing, were there any that you skipped? And also being aware, did you skip any because you feel you didn't have enough time and you wanted to keep up? And I'm going to talk about time in a little bit, because that also is a trigger as well for yourself. What triggered you? Were there certain things that you're just like, there's no way, that is crazy, that it's out there, I'm not going to do it. Be aware of what that triggered. And it could be that it's your discernment and that it's not for you. And that's really cool, right? Or it could be that it triggered you because you're afraid that it will bring up some really deep and dark stuff. Now, when we have support with someone, this deep and dark stuff isn't as painful as what our mind is projecting, because our mind a lot of times is saying, oh man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this shamanic work with somebody, or I'm going to do this depth work with somebody, and it's going to be painful and it's going to be nasty. And it depends, who you want to work with and who that is. I'm about ease and grace. And, sometimes things get difficult, but it's mainly when our mind starts to get in the way. So being aware that it isn't as bad as a person thinks. And one of the things too is, if we have stuff that we know that we're stuffing, it's going to be there until the day we die. It is going to be there. So why not face it, let go of it, and just and move on so that we can live our most glorious life, right? So ask yourself what triggered you in this series, if it did. And if it didn't, kudos to you. Sometimes stuff triggers me, sometimes it doesn't. The other question, what intrigued you? Now, I find that happens a lot. What intrigues me is just like, oh yeah, I want to try that. I want to try that. I have some clients who have been listening to this series and they're like, I'm really intrigued with that. I want to know more about that. I want to know more about this, right? And so those things also, that's fun. It's just like, okay, that can help me with my spiritual growth, right? So taking those are going to help you to put together the pieces. First of all, finding which ones you might have avoided, which ones jazzed you. Those are clues to help you go forward in 2021, right? Or whatever year that you're listening to this. Okay, so I said that I was going to mention something about time. There are 3 excuses that I find with high achievers, because I work a lot with high achievers. I'm a high achiever myself. I love to high achieve in everything, even in the spiritual practice. And sometimes I need to chill out, right? And just be like, go with the flow. Actually, a lot of times I need to do that. But there are 3 excuses that I find over and over from people. I don't have enough money to do that. I don't have enough time, and I don't know how. Right? And I'm saying that those are excuses because they are. Now, when we have our schedule so blocked up that we don't have any time, and I'm using these as their excuses for not doing soul work. I don't have enough time to set up a morning ritual. I don't have enough time to journal my dreams. I don't have enough time to do this activity. When we're overscheduling and putting so much in, and it feels like the demands of the world are on us. And I've done this so many times, so I'm talking from experience. When we put that excuse on time, what happens is we are, what would I say? Well, first of all, we're giving time the opportunity, right? But we're also denying ourselves soul growth, because there is that ego place that is all of a sudden freaking out. And it's just like, well, if I don't have time, I don't need to look at that, right? And the same thing, if I don't have money, I don't need to do that. I've had people who have come to me and said that they want to do the work with me. And they're just like, well, I don't have the money to work with you privately. But when I do something like a 12-day free series, they also don't have the time to be able to take to do that. And so you can see that these are excuses, and they're excuses that don't serve. And so maybe having a healthy conversation with the ego and saying, hey, I'm not going to obliterate you. I'm not going to obliterate your business. I'm not going to obliterate who you are. However, I want to do the easier path, and let's work together, right? And so that might be a conversation you have with your ego or your monkey mind or whatever you want to call that, right? And the whole piece of that, I don't know how. I get that. I am constantly letting go of the how. And so realizing that, for example, I've given all of you 12 days of amazing things that you can do. And even if you did one, it will change your life, right? Even just one thing. Do two, it's going to massively change, right? And so you don't know how, is just knowing that you're always going to get the information that you need for that moment, and first starting and letting go of the perfectionism, letting go of having to do it perfectly, because I don't know how, sometimes we get into that thing, well, I can't put the clues together like Monica does. Well, I've been doing this 20 years. I wasn't going to say 24/7, but I pretty much, I would spend probably over the last 20 years, 4 to 5 hours solid each day on spiritual growth. Okay. And so when you average it out, so that's why I'm able to do what I do. And so it's not about comparing, and it's just about finding your unique spin and how you're going to do it. Right. So that's that piece. I'm going to give an example now of how I'm going to put together, and then I'll go through the questions and comments because I love all of that. So how I'm going to put together. So I have these 12 days, right? And I'm going to share with you how I'm going to put it together. So I'm going to look back at what were all of the days. I'm going to look in my journal because I journal all the time. And I talked about the importance of journaling. I'm going to look at my dreams. I'm also going to look at a lot of the clues and symbols that came forth, the things that I saw, the triggers that I had. I'm going to also be aware of where in this series did I have to shift some energy in order to get onto that call, because that's going to help on the live, because that's going to help me see where there's something that's an area where I get to really excel, right? So I'm going to look at all of those. Like I said, look at the clues. I'm going to look at what my private clients have been saying to me over these 12 days, what they want to learn, right? And all of that. So I'm going to start with the intention. And I talked a lot about in the very beginning, the power of intention. What was your intention for this 12-day series? And if you didn't have an intention and you didn't write it down, then that's the first thing for the next time, the go round of something, have a really clear intention. So I had 2 intentions for this series. The first intention was I wanted to teach a lot of stuff to all of you. I wanted to get you excited about the power of dreaming, the power of numerology, the power of your soul language. So my first intention, and I wanted to go live because I love live energy. And then I can just channel the information and you will all get what you need, no matter what time you are listening to this live, right? So that was my intention for everyone, is just to get what you needed to get. That was the pure intention. And knowing that I was going to be going day to day, right? I was guided. So then when I started, I had an intention for me personally that I wanted to delve into. And that intention is about what am I going to offer for 2021? Meaning, what kinds of YouTube lives am I going to do? Are there other platforms that I'm going to be on? So it was a business-related intention that I had. And how am I going to also take care of myself and my body in the process as I do this? So seeing all of that, I had that intention. I've been cultivating my clues. So day 1 was that intention, following the dreams and clues. So I'm going to be doing that. And I already have been, circling things that have been popping up that people have been talking to me about. So day 2 was releasing the old story, belief, pattern, or behavior. So one of my old patterns and behaviors is overwhelm, that I'm releasing because I take on too many people's stuff, right? And so releasing that overwhelm and releasing what's going on with everyone else and just getting clear with me. That was one of the patterns I was releasing. Honoring my body wisdom. And so I noticed that my body really wanted a lot more care over these 12 days. So now I've installed some habits already. So, a dance program I'm going to do. I'm shifting some things up with my nutrition. So that was honoring the body wisdom. That was day 2. So I'm sharing these with you because then all of you can be doing these too, going back. And I also talked about remembering dreams. So for all of you, it could be like, okay, I'm going to start to remember my dreams and I'm going to do something with that. Day 3 was talking about creative imagination and the magical child. So I'm going to see where have I been creative and how have I done things. I did a latch hook rug kit, which gave me a lot of ideas. And so I'm going to go back and be like, okay, how can I creatively work with my intention of what I want to offer? And I want to have more fun. And that's what I want to offer with people, right? Let's see. So that was day 3. Day 4 was belonging, making it up, enlightening dream work. So I'm going to be taking that place of, how do I belong? Do I belong in different groups? Where is that for me? As well as making it up. And that is one of the things over the 12 days. Every single day, I did not know what I was going to do until 2 hours ahead of time. Now, granted, I have tons of information to share, and I knew that it would come out in a certain way. But that's how I'm going to look at these offerings that I offer, is being able to make it up and be like, okay, this is the next thing, and let go of my analytical head of saying, well, this is what the marketing says. This is what that says. I'm going to follow that intuitive hit for myself, right? And I encourage all of you to do that as well. Day 5, using numerology and understanding the universal year. So I talked a lot about that. So it's a change year. So how am I going to embrace change, innovation, being able to live life in a more experiential way, right? So bringing that energy in. Day 6 was about what happens when we change our destiny or course correct. And so that meant, for a lot of us, when we're changing our destiny, like I'm doing this dance stuff, I'm doing these other things, it will shift the destiny that I'm going on. And in the process, what are the old dreams that I let go of? And I did let go of them when that happened. So what dreams are you letting go of that you felt like you had to push them through, but they don't fit this new destiny for yourself? Day 7 was change, innovation, expansion, freedom, experience. What are you bringing from 2020? So I really worked out, I'm bringing stability. I'm bringing systems, foundations, check boxes, because that's going to work for me. What from 2020 are you bringing into this year to create your freedom, right? And I talk more about the numerology. Day 8 was honoring your rhythm. So honoring that rhythm of, what are your power moments? What are your power days? Following that rhythm and realizing that just because everybody else is sleeping and you're really wired and you're ready to go, then do it. You'll find people who are in that zone, right? Also, dream reentry, being able to go back into a dream and shift the outcome. And for some of you, that's something that I'll be teaching. Maybe some of you'll be like, hey, Monica, I want to take that class where I'm going to learn dream reentry, right? Or you know how to do that. And so being able to change the narrative of your story, right? And day 9 was multidimensional travel, about the different realities and all of that. And seeing, where are those pieces of me coming together, and time travel and being able to heal timelines and everything. And then day 12 was spiritual counsel, spiritual guides. So I'm going to be connecting in with some of those spiritual guides that I mentioned on these lives and that came in my dreams to give me some more advice on what I'm here to do. Using the animal medicine, I had deer polar bear come in my dreams again last night, and he was just like raring to go. So I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen to what he has to say. And then day 11 was about taking action. What are the actions that I'm taking? And when am I going to integrate? And so today, being a high achiever, I wanted to be able to say, okay, I am going to be offering X, Y, and Z. But I need that time to integrate, to look at it, to finish this series, to actually finish it, and then go within and use my intention and say, okay, what is in alignment with me? What makes me feel good? What lights me up? What excites me, right? That is where I'm going to go with this. So I encourage all of you to go back and look at all of these things with your intention. And if you didn't have an intention, then start to do them, right? And then also to make sure to you could even have an intention now and go back and see what starts to bubble up for you, because time is the time is now. Past, present, future is all now. And so if you didn't have an intention, go back and look at it and then just let stuff start to bubble in. And that, you know, that's the technical term, right? And we want so many technical terms, but it is magic. Dreaming and all of these things that I've shared with you are magic. And so when we really are engaged in them, things happen that we could never even imagine. People say things and stuff shifts and changes. Relationships around us shift when we shift. And that is the beauty of all of this. So now I'm going to go to questions because I see there are lots of questions. And that's when it's fun, when Rachel has woken up super early, my Pacific girl. Love it. So thank you for being here. And Brenda and Rachel, thanks for your energy. It's just amazing. Okay. Okay. Yep. Having the time frame. So Rachel was talking about that. Okay. Oh, okay. So Rachel, one of the things, you don't get reminders like you do with Facebook for this. I believe that I think on YouTube, if you press the bell, you can then be reminded of when I do lives. And I'm going to figure out some type of a schedule to do more, because these are really a lot of fun. So that helps. Divine trust. That's a great word, Rachel. I love that. Tracking. Yep. Steve Jobs. Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I know Steve Jobs. I mean, I've been with Apple and Macintosh. I've used their products since 1985, because I started at the university. And so I've used their products, till now. So I don't know why I spaced on his name. Reflection is also tracking, being able to reflect and do that. And thanks for saying that, Rachel. I do love to do this, and it is one of my major gifts, being able to track and see the clues of everything. Okay, here are some questions, and I love that you put questions. The other night I dreamed about football, me throwing a football. First time dreamed of this. At first I threw a beautiful power spiral. Next time I choked, threw it flat on the ground. Everyone on the team was angry, sad, disappointed. I was considered a talented player, one they could count on. I felt shame, disappointment, and in past I've choked athletically. And then she went somewhere else that somebody was talking about football, had gone over the fence, through the football. Okay. What happened? That was her question. I've never experienced such a strong clue, and it's appearing like that in dream, then life. How would I divine this? That's a great question. So, first of all, really cool when you have something that's completely new, and then all of a sudden you're just like, wow, that is really getting my attention. And that's what the dreams will do. They'll throw us a curveball, they'll throw us a football, they'll throw us something to help us to be able to see that. So what I would do with that dream, a couple of the things I could say, what is a football for? So if I were talking to a Martian, or an outer space person, or somebody who had never knows what a football is, I would actually describe it. What is a football? It is a key piece of a game, right? And it's, people will throw this football, and it also requires a team of people. So it requires a team of people that work in coordination to get to the goal. So I would be looking at, how am I a key player in something? And how am I using strategy? Because football for me would be about strategy. How am I using strategy and being strategic, but also playing a game, working with other people, and getting that help, that it doesn't always depend on me. And so one of the things that I would look at is realizing too, when I feel that, the first time I threw that powerful spiral, but then I all of a sudden judged myself saying I choked, I would be looking at that and saying, okay, where am I being too hard on myself? Because in football, everybody has those moments. They're not always going to have those long passes and those perfect shots, but they are going to have them, and they celebrate them, and so does the team. So I would look at, where am I being so hard on myself that I always have to throw that perfect spiral, and how can I have those moments where it didn't work? The play didn't happen, but that doesn't mean that I'm off the team, and that doesn't mean that I'm a celebrated point of this. And then what I might do personally is I'd go back in and look at, where in the past have I always thought that I always had to be the perfect star, and that there are moments where I'm not going to do it perfectly, and that's okay. That's what I would say with that dream. But I would continue to work with it, see where the triggers are, and also to be aware of it showing up over and over in different ways. I had that happen with a baseball. Wow, when was that? A year and a half ago. And I'm not a sports person in general. And so I've had to do that same kind of thing. Um, and then doing whatever it is that feels right for you. I love that you say you thought that the football were guides trying to get your attention. Play with that. Have fun with that, right? Okay, how can we keep this kind of dreaming momentum up? Mine always revs up with you anytime you create a container. It does help. It really does help to have a container. And so I am going to start doing more of these lives. So that could be part of it, right? Part of this container. And also holding an intention. And maybe even holding a certain momentum intention of just saying, okay, for 6 days, I want to get some idea on my health. 6 days, I'm wanting to do this. Then there's some, there's some juice for you. So whatever it is for you, but also I am going to, this year is the year where I'm going to be launching a lot of different dream things. Some of them are free. Some of them are going to be paid. So, for anybody listening, check out monicacanton.com. You can get on the e-zine list and get on my list, and I'll share when I'm doing certain things. Okay, look at behind the scenes. Think I've neglected looking back at material and experiences I created to put them together. That's a really great one, Rachel. I've done that over and over, and I think I shared that in one of these days. I'm not quite sure. I don't think I explained it to the extent that it was, but I get revved up. I get excited by something new, and so a lot of you are creative and have different ideas, and you want to bring those ideas forward. And so going and looking back at things, it's just like, but that's not as exciting as a new. But when we make it exciting, that makes a huge difference. And so back in 2014, I had my dreams, and I was going really fast, doing a lot of things. I was burned out too, and really exhausted. In my dreams, said over and over and over, get out, leave, move, shift, change. And it was regarding an old coaching program I had been in. And I did explain this before to people, but because I didn't look back at my dreams and I was constantly going for the new, I let go. I didn't honor my own soul's wisdom. And I think when you look at it as not just, oh, that's stuff in the past, it's just like, that is soul's wisdom to be mined to live our best lives. And I literally would have saved tens of thousands of dollars if I would have listened to those 6 months of dreams. And I didn't. And I'm using that example because it really got my attention, because I lost a lot of money, right? And then I was just like, okay, I am going to really pay attention to these dreams. And going back is a huge piece. And even that thing that I said yesterday, where you take a journal and put your finger on it, I've done that with journals from 10 years ago, and I always get the spot on information I need for today. So that's a beautiful way. Make it fun. Instead of looking at it as a chore, look at it as a fun, like detective experience. Like, I'm finding the clues to live my best life now, right? Okay. How can we intentionally craft a strong new beginning for this year, this era, using dreams? Have a powerful intention. Start with that. Realize you're making it up. And so a new beginning means making it up. And so being able to go from one thing to another. Take action. So take one action, and then the next action will be revealed. Looking at what was going on last year. Were there moments where what was the support that you needed to go forward? And what's the support you need going in this year? Because we're in one of change. And to be able to do that, we need to be able to have our support staff, whatever that is. It can be the dream support staff, all of that. How can we use it using dreams? We can start asking for, who are our spiritual guides, start to create our spiritual council. Where are some animals showing up to help us with energy? How are we going to actually really honor those spaces? Those are some things. And then I will be sharing more as the time goes on. That's a really great question. Okay, question. I was really disappointed. I didn't remember dreams last night for the last day. Why do sometimes the memory of dreams are wildly vivid and other times can't grasp? How can I improve? Oh, that's a really great question. So there are a couple of reasons. First of all, we don't always remember our dreams. I think on one of these series, I didn't remember my dreams the one day. So what I do instead is I take the day clues. And so I never say I don't have a dream because I always have something. So for you, I would say take the day clues today. What are the clues that people are saying and you feel like, oh, they just really trigger you or they really light you up, right? And those can be part of that dream. The other thing is if I don't have a dream, I'll go back into the last position I was sleeping in and I'll take a deep breath and I'll just breathe and I'll just see if any images pop up. If they do, then that's a dream, right? So that's a piece as well. Other thing, why do sometimes are wildly vivid and other times we can't grasp them? Sometimes because there's so much going on that we need to only grasp the one piece. Others is that we can grasp that one piece and we can re-enter the dream and go back into it and get more information. The other thing is, and this is a big one and I haven't mentioned it yet, so I love this question, is our dream guides get bored if we ask the same question over and over and we do not take an action. Or we say we're going to take an action and we don't do that action. Then actually our dreams will dry up. Meaning that our dreams are still there, but we are not able to access them. We're not able to open that door. We're not able to remember them because we have 4 to 7 dreams a night. And when we can't remember them, it's for those reasons. But I think really understanding your dream producers, the ones who create that movie I have been talking about in one of these days, if they hear the same thing over and over, they're going to shut the dreams because they're just like, you know what? I am so bored of playing this same part. So what story have you been saying over and over and you haven't made a change? Do something different and a dream will show up. Since for you, when you're talking about it, it was just one day, then it's just probably like, have some fun with the day. But it's a great question and one that's really important. Okay, let's see. Oh, wait. I'm looking at more of the questions. Okay, to clarify. Oh, cool. In real life, Rachel, in real life, I don't want to use that. In ordinary reality, in this life right here, she got a chance to throw a football over the fence and threw a beautiful spiral. So going back to that dream that you had, I would just bring those two together and realize how am I positioned right now to really go for it and have a beautiful game. Okay. Okay, so here is a question. I love this question, Brenda. I had a dream last night about peanut butter in my hair. As you know, I've had scalp issues, but really peanut butter in my hair. So a couple of the things, I would do that same thing. I would actually journal the dream. I would write it out. I would put the title. So what is it going to be? Is it going to be peanut butter in my hair? Or I'm also going to see, did I have an intention with it at the night? What are the feelings about it? All of that. And then I might journal and say, what does peanut butter mean to me? right? And so I can only say from if it were my dream because I don't want to take the power of your dream. I can't take the power of your dream because I don't understand it. I do have dry scalp issues, though, so I can relate to that piece. So if I had this dream about peanut butter in my hair, it might be a couple of things. If it were my dream, I'd be wondering, am I meant to be eating more peanut butter, or is peanut butter causing this problem? For me, I love peanut butter. I mean, peanut butter is something I absolutely love. It's a special treat. So I might look at what are some special treats or something that I get to do for my scalp and my hair. It might not be peanut butter, but it's something that feels like a special treat that I wouldn't necessarily do. What is something new? Maybe there's a special lotion or a special cream or something else that I get to use for my scalp. Or it could be that my body is wanting more peanut butter or is wanting some type of an oil to help with the dryness that I'm experiencing. That's kind of where I'd go with it. And then what I would do with that for tonight's streaming, is I would say, what do I need to know regarding about peanut butter in my hair, right? Or what else do I need to know about helping my scalp not be so dry, right? So I follow up on that and continue to dream that series and see what's going on. And I have to say, congrats on remembering a dream. I love that. Okay. Make reflection. What does that? Okay, so what does it mean if you dream something unusual, then it happens in real life a day or two later? It's just showing you're really in the zone, you know? For me, when it happened, we dream stuff 80% of the time in the future, right? And so the fact that it happened 2 days later, I'd be really excited about. There's certain dreams that I have that don't show up till 5 years later. If I had a dream that something happened 2 days later, I'm gonna be really conscious and working with my intentions as I'm working on manifesting. And knowing that whatever I'm creating in the dream time, when I start to create it in the night dream time, then I can start to create it in the daydream time. What I started to say in day one, we create everything in the dream time first, meaning at night, how we interact with people before it manifests into reality. So for me, if I have that situation, I would be saying, wow, that really is true. So else in my life do I want to work with my dreams? Is it in my health, in my relationships, my business, finances, all of that? And how am I taking care of it in this nighttime dreams, daytime dreams, and then seeing it manifest in ordinary reality? And that's just a really powerful example of manifestation. Okay. Um, how can you take the day clues when you don't remember dreams? That was day one and day two. Just having an intention. And then what are the first things that show up? Is it a movie, something on Facebook, something in a book, overheard conversation, something that you saw on a poster? I remember, for example, for myself, I had the energy of tiger start to show up. I heard the song "Eye of the Tiger" and it started jazzing me. I got really excited, right? And then I saw a tiger somewhere else. And then I happened to be in a parking lot at a mall, and on the side of it, now I live in Minnesota, okay, so tigers are not like the thing here. I on the side of this car it said tiger conservatory or tiger rescue or something like that. And I was just like, okay, I know tiger wants the information. And so then I started to journal or do some of the dream journeys that I do. That's what I mean by following the clues during the day. Some of them will be so obvious, but then you have to figure out what they mean. So for me, tiger is all about creativity. And the reason I know that is because I've had multiple conversations with tiger ever since that happened. And that is one way that you can work with the daytime clues. Um, and also it's what I've found when people don't remember their dreams, it's what opens things up for people is the daytime clues will open up the nighttime dreaming because it's saying to the universe, I'm listening to what God Spirit Universe is putting in my path, right? Okay. Yes, take action with your peanut butter, Brenda. Yay. And I might actually eat some peanut butter. But see, I love peanut butter. I think I might have some peanut butter. I think I might take some of your clue. And that's the beauty about sharing dreams is that we can take certain things. I love peanut butter, no matter, people will say that it has certain things in it or whatever, but peanut butter makes me happy. Um, yeah, our dreams do dry up. How to figure out the action, just whatever action. So Rachel said she had some steamy dreams, and what action should she take? Figure out the action. Just from yesterday, I talked a lot about action. Just whatever feels right, right? For me, a lot of actions lately have been figuring out new, like I love these new bracelets that I've been getting, and so a lot of my actions are just making me feel good. And so I might wear jewelry, I might do something. So whatever action feels right for you, make it doable, make it small, something that isn't super hard, because then you can continue to take actions every day on something. Like if I'm all of a sudden wearing these, I can do something else, but I've taken an action that day on it. So make it small, and let go of the head of what it needs to be. Just whatever comes in, that will be it. Okay. Oh, I'm glad that the things resonated with you, Rachel. Yeah, 80% of what we dream, Rachel, is in the future. And I have mentioned that in a few different ones. And that's the beauty of a series, right? And that's the beauty of continuing to understand and keep on learning. Even if a lot of stuff is repetition, something all of a sudden will land. And that's what I learned when I was doing a lot of the dream work with my mentor, is he'd say something over and over and over. And eventually, maybe on the 5th month or the 6th month, I'd be like, oh, you can do that? And he's like, I've been saying that since day one. But we always get what we need, right? We always remember what we need at that moment to go forward. So yes, 80%, about 80% is dreaming in the future. So it's really cool about the socializing in the community since the pandemic. So that's what she was talking about, that she was dreaming. Part of that, yes, can be in the future, that we're seeing that future vision. And that's what's really cool, because then the dreaming can get us through that. Because I know that there are some people that this pandemic has been incredibly lonely. And so to have the dreams are able to, I talked in one of these lives about the energy of a dream. And so it's the energy that we can call up at will. And so, for example, if I were living alone, and I'm not, I'm lucky that I'm with my husband. But if I were living alone and I was feeling that loneliness in a key point, I would imagine, and I go back into the dream that I had with the community and maybe the steamy relationship and the fun and all of that. And I would bring that in and I would sit with it. I would meditate with it and I'd breathe with it until I could bring all of those feelings back. And that will help so that you don't go into a depression or into more of the challenge, and being able to hold on to that energy, that is the possible future. But we can use the dreams as an antidote, or as a cure, not a cure, I don't want to use the word cure. We can use it as an energy to actually shift our moods. And that is what is beautiful. So I encourage anybody to be able to do that. And a lot of that community and everything is giving us that opportunity to realize, yeah, we always are connected. We always are connected, even in the dream time. And sometimes we need to do that in the dream time until we can see it in our now time, in our now reality. Okay. Okay. Love that tip. Oh, I'm glad. Brenda loves peanut butter too. Of course you do. I love it. That's so great. Um, okay. So Rachel is talking about it's about us improving our intentionality, mindfulness, consciousness raising, and believing the power and reality of dream life. Yeah, and believing the power and reality of dream life and living it and believing in magic, I think are the huge pieces. And intentionality is huge, and consciousness, being conscious and awake that we are living in a magical world and we get the opportunity to chase that magic or to walk with that magic instead of walking with the pain, the challenge, which we're tempted to always go on, right? And that's the beauty about the dreaming. Okay. Okay. Rachel is talking about shamanic shopping. She loved that one from yesterday that I talked about. And actually that's a great thing because yesterday I was talking about how are you going to celebrate. And so how are you going to celebrate these 12 days that you've done this 12-day experience and and finding what the information is for you and what is one thing that you're going to do to celebrate. It could be shamanic shopping. I'm going to get a blue velvet top that's on sale because it has a lot to do with the blue energy I was talking about that I'm bringing in. But sometimes I might end up doing, creating a really nice meal and eating that. But how are you going to celebrate these 12 days? And, sometimes people would say, well, this is a free event. These are free YouTube things. That's not how I work. And that's not how you are either. If you took the time, your precious time to listen to these, first of all, I'm grateful and thank you. Second of all, your time is your soul connection. So celebrate it. How are you going to celebrate? What is one thing? Let go of the mind of what it needs to be. It'll show up. And it doesn't need to have money attached to it. This time I am buying a shirt. A lot of times it's I'll make a certain meal or I'll go for a walk or I'll do something. But make sure you celebrate because the universe, God, spirit wants to know that you're celebrating your wins. And your win is when you show up, right? And you've shown up. And that is amazing. Okay. And I'm only going to do a few more and then I'm going to get going. But I love doing this. Okay. That's so cool. So Rachel is talking about the dreams have been feeding her because she is living alone and that is helping. And so that's testament right there. And thank you for sharing that because I think that's going to help a lot of people who are in that situation. Okay. So question, and this is the last question I'm going to do. Do you feel there's been a communal or collective awakening? How can I help feed that? Um, Yes, there is a collective awakening, and it's happening in different ways, right? For some people, it's totally jarring them out of their world and it's freaking them out, right? Because they don't have their jobs, they don't have this, they don't have that, and they're getting the opportunity to go and have time to actually be with themselves. And to know that we all get the opportunity to have compassion and to let go of judgment of how people are awakening and to realize that everybody has their process. Everybody has their divine connection to spirit, God, universe, and to let everybody have that divine connection, right? Meaning to be able to say, yeah, that's their connection to God. That's their connection to the universe. That's their connection to spirit. Letting people use the words that they need to use in order to understand themselves better. So we are getting that opportunity to have a massive shutdown on a global level where people have the opportunity to be with themselves or to be with others and to figure themselves out is definitely saying there's an awakening. And then how can we help feed that? First of all, is feed ourselves, because if you're here, you already are part of the solution. And oh, I got goosebumps on that one. You already are part of the solution. You've already been lighting the path for a lot of other people. Make sure that you're filled up first and then continue to light that path, and know that the right person will show up. So if it is in your business, if it's in your relationships, if it's in whatever it is, however you touch people, know that you're making a difference. And it's just being able to pass things on. I was talking to a private client yesterday who had been doing some listening to one of the lives from way back on day 2, way back when, right? Day 2. And she said, hey, I love this idea of something you told me, and I'm going to bring it and share it in a talk that I'm going to give. And she's going to share all of her other information, but that one piece. And I thought, how cool is that? Because something that I'm sharing with others, she's sharing that one piece because it resonated with her ways of doing things, and she can share it. So where are all of us sharing information and just sharing it because we know it, and letting go of where it's going to go, how it's going to land, and just know that it can be that easy. We don't have to be thinking about it. It's just whatever we say, something might stick with someone, and then it will take off in exponential ways, right? But definitely feed yourself first. And that is key. Feed your dreams, live your life, and be the inspiration so others want to follow. I think that's really important in spiritual work, because spiritual people don't want to be following somebody who's going through the dregs of everything constantly. I mean, I do go through, my stuff. I don't share them until I come out of them, because I don't want to bring people down into that. So I'll work my stuff and then be the inspiration with all of saying, this is how it worked. This is how I shifted it and how I changed, because people want to be inspired and know that spiritual practice can actually jumpstart them and have them living their best lives, right? Okay. And just seeing. Oh, thanks, Rachel. Generous, sharing your wisdom behind the scenes, pom-poms, guidance, and educating. I love my pom-poms. Okay. Yeah. Feed your dreams. Feed yourself first. That's so important. Thank you for all the questions. I super love this. I will be continuing to do this. Feel free to get on to my e-zine list, monicakenton.com. Right now, there's a lot of older offerings if you're listening to this on the 6th of January, but things will be shifting there. But get on my list, and I'll be sharing more of when I'm going to be doing lives, as well as other opportunities, which will be figured out within the next day or two, because that's how I'm working. I'm making it up as I go along, and I encourage all of you to do the same, especially in this year of change, and be with the magic. Thank you so much. Feel free to like, comment, share. Thank you for the questions. Feel free to subscribe. If you want to know more, I think you can press the bell, and then it'll tell you when I go live on other moments. But feel free to share this with other people, because I know that it makes a difference, and I want to be able to help people get jazzed and excited about their own power, their own innate power within themselves to dream, and also to follow numerology and all of that. Thank you so much. Enjoy the day, and I look forward to seeing what your 12 days of dreaming have done for you. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.